Welcome to Love Where You Live, a podcast by DeLily Home, and we are here to talk about the high points of High Point. I am Mary Powell of DeLily.
And I am Allison Kelly, and today we have the ladies of Bundle of Joy here with us. We have Taylor Pinkos, Morgan Quabain, and Shelby Lloyd, and they are going to tell us a little bit about why they started Bundle of Joy and a little bit about the
what it is.
Organization.
I know what a bundle of joy is.
I do too.
It's a little baby.
And
does it have anything to do with that?
Yeah, you want to start just giving us a little intro on what you guys are all about?
Bundle of Joy is a program that we built together, both the community and the hospital foundation, to support mothers and newborns during that very important transition from hospital to home. So a Bundle of Joy is a diaper bag that doubles as a bassinet for safe sleep. And it includes all the essentials that you think about in that first week or two. So a onesie, diapers, wipes, those are important.
Yes, very much.
Diaper cream, a bib, a swaddle, and very importantly, we include a resource guide. And that connects mothers to all of the other amazing resources within the community that they can go to for long-term support. So think food pantries, diaper banks. Our nursing staff is trained to deliver the bundles and then walk them through this. And Taylor is a part of their care journey from start to finish. So that is, in essence, what a Bundle of Joy is.
So it's a starter kit for moms. A baby starter kit.
A baby starter kit with support. So it's not just here we drop you off. Because I sort of felt that way when I left the hospital. All my other moms that I know did too, that I'm like,
what have I done?
Now I'm like, who's going to take care of this baby? This is me, just me. Like,
there's no test.
Yeah, I know my training, but I'm not prepared. I know I'm not prepared for this. So,
well, I'll tell you a funny story. And Mark, my husband, laughs every time. It was like the first time home, and Jack would not stop crying, so I called the hospital. The nurses said, call anytime. So I called him, like, yeah, baby won't start crying. They're like, lady, I don't know what to tell you.
It's really weird when baby's crying.
Will not.
I have to feed them constantly. Like, what do I do?
I know.
Yeah, it's really overwhelming. So that would have been nice.
Yes, it would.
To have.
And I've seen the kit and the little bassinet, like it's a diaper bag bassinet, right? It's so cool. And it's so easy to put beside the bed, put in the bed, wherever, or on the go. Oh my gosh, if you're visiting someone.
It would have been so nice to
have a pack and play, hauling that thing around everywhere.
But really, the bigger reason why we chose to go that route is because you would be surprised how many moms in our area actually don't know where their baby's going to sleep when they get home. Mm-hmm. Shelby, maybe you can tell them a little bit about the doctors and how we went about approving it.
Sure. So Morgan is the one who really brought this idea to us at the hospital foundation.
This is her baby.
This is her baby, pun intended. And so she brought this to us, and we really worked together to try to figure out exactly what the needs are in our community that would best serve the majority of new moms and new families. And as we were, brainstorming ideas and thinking about the items in the bag and choosing the bag, we really also wanted to have clinical input. We think we have great ideas, but we also wanted to have some science behind it and the clinical input behind it. So particularly with the diaper bag that folds out into a bassinet, we were really careful to make sure that we consulted with local pediatricians to make sure that this really is a safe sleep space. And it's not going to be like a permanent sleeping solution to last for years, but this will at least serve as a safe sleep space for like the first 6 weeks, because we don't want babies in the bed with mom because of the risk of SIDS.
Right.
And so this is a way to also help ensure the safety of little ones here in our community, which is important.
It's going to roll over on them or something.
Yeah, and it's hard. It seems like they always want to fall asleep in the worst places or like the most dangerous places. Yeah. So that is, having something portable like that is huge. I don't know that I realized. I mean, I assumed that it was research based. I
Yeah.
think you guys just came up with something like, here, this is cool. But I like, it's always interesting learning all the details and like all the behind the scenes stuff.
I was going to say, what is the percentage? So moms coming in the hospital and giving birth, because this is just I still call it High Point Regional.
That's okay. Everybody does.
Wait, what is the correct name?
So the technical name is Atrium Health, Wake Forest Baptist, High Point Medical Center. So we can just call it High Point Medical Center or High Point Regional or High Point Hospital or High Point Memorial.
Okay.
We answer to all of those names.
That's us. That's us. But what is the percentage of moms coming in and giving birth there that are maybe in the lower percentile income wise, who need the extra help, and it's not always lower income, but just need that help with, these supplies that you have in the bundle?
So for patients that are coming into the hospital, every postpartum patient has access to the bundle, which is fantastic because you don't always see the need, right?
Exactly.
Not every patient is going to present with, oh, I think they're going to need extra resources. So every patient gets that regardless of what they might need, which I think is fantastic. In my role, I'm connecting with these patients prenatally to try to make sure that before they have their babies, we're connecting them in the community. And Bundle of Joy is a big part of that postpartum, but we're also looking at things before baby comes.
Right.
There are quite a lot of patients that need help with resources. I'm constantly referring patients for car seats or pack and plays or food pantry, all of that kind of stuff. So it's actually, there's a lot of members of our community who are utilizing these resources. So it's actually really amazing that Bundle of Joy helps everybody.
Everyone, yeah. That's nice, because everyone needs a resource for something.
Yeah. And one thing I like about Bundle of Joy is that it's also providing resources for mom to take care of herself.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big piece of it.
It is.
My background is postpartum. And so a lot of what you see is taking care of baby. What are you doing for baby? And I think we need to take care of moms too. So that's one thing I love about Bundle of Joy is it's hitting those points as well.
100%, because the mom is just, we have stories I can tell later. But I went through postpartum depression when I had my first.
Yeah.
And it was like, what is this? And there's no one to help, and you don't know what's going on. But any part of it, if it's your first child, even your second or third, but you kind of know the drill once you've had one. But that first one is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you're learning everything. I had my mom, which was great. They call her the baby whisperer. Did you know that?
I did not.
I know there's something new about Carol.
Another half.
She has helped moms get their kids' babies to sleep through the night.
Oh.
Like you act like
I needed Carol.
I know. She's like,
Why is this the first time I'm hearing this?
I don't know. You didn't ask for her help, maybe. I don't know.
You called me before I had Baker, and you're like, if you need anything, just let me know. You weren't like, hey, I have this secret weapon in my back pocket.
Yeah, Mom, she is. She's like, tank them up, fill them up. That was her secret. Like, wait till like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, tank them up, fill them full. If you're breastfeeding, get them a little formula, a little bottle, you fill them up, and then they sleep. But anyway, she,
I assumed you were going to say it was like a little bit of gin or something.
Scotch would be
Johnny
Walker Black and the gums, right?
I am right there with you that the whole reason that this idea came to me was really a way for me to heal from my own trauma. My first wasn't born in High Point, unfortunately, because they would have taken a lot better care of me.
Yeah.
But my second was, and I had a beautiful experience. But with my first, I had a very unexpected traumatic situation where I was hemorrhaging for many hours afterwards, and they didn't catch it. Long story short, I didn't see my son for 36 hours.
Yeah.
And it was just very difficult after that from a depression standpoint. And I have the best family and the financial resources, and I had a great company that gave me this long maternity leave. And so after I got over, after those first few weeks settled and I'm just home by myself with the baby, all my mind could think about is, what do these moms do that don't have what I have, or even the ones that do? It's still hard.
Right.
It's hard when you have everything. So how hard must it be when you have nothing? So that's really kind of the heart behind the
Yeah.
program that I think everybody on our committee and at the hospital embodies. And we're so lucky to have the nursing staff that we do, because if we didn't have them, the program would fall apart,
Right,
if you
right.
don't have the people that really care.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I reached out because, again, I didn't know what was happening. My sister's like, "You're crying again." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know what." I had no clue. I'm like, "What's going on?" No one's ever been through it. My sisters never went through it. I had my mom. I had all sorts of resources, but I didn't know what was going on. So I called clinic back in the day.
Yeah.
This was 23 years ago. That's who I reached out to, because that was the only thing I knew. Like, something's wrong, and I shouldn't be feeling like this, which I come to find out it's very, very normal. Just no one talks about it. But that's who I went to.
Yeah.
So, like you, because you don't, and that's the person you connect with in the beginning and during, and then after, when you don't know who to reach out to, that's who I did.
So I totally agree with you, Mary Powell. And, myself, I have 3 children. And so I know firsthand just how overwhelming motherhood can be, especially in those early days. But truthfully, it's even overwhelming now when they're older sometimes. But the thing to me, like, there are so many beautiful things about Bundle of Joy. But one of the most beautiful things, I think, is that it's really a representation of our community collaborating and coming together to support one another, especially as women, as new mothers, as older mothers. It's all ages and all demographics, just kind of wrapping our arms around each other to say, like, this is really, really hard. Sometimes it gets easier, sometimes it doesn't, but you know what? Like, we're in this together, and we're here to support you. And so to me, just the representation of that right here in High Point is one of the most beautiful pieces of Bundle of Joy.
It's nice that you have that support within the hospital and outside, because another thing about, when you become a mom, I mean, women in general tend to, help each other out and hold each other up. But as a mom, it's like a different thing. And I do remember thinking, oh my God, all those other mothers out there, they survived it. I know they can survive it.
Right.
I shall survive it too,
I will
but-
be okay.
Yeah, but once you become a mom, it's like a switch turns on where you connect with other women as well. So
And I'll say too, like, the thing that's quite amazing, and I think most of us probably know this about High Point, but I am just so proud of, as Carol would say, our large, small town. The hospital staff is totally bought in. The providers are amazing, and they're right there with us. Like, what can we do to help? We want to help our patients. We want to help our community. Taylor's amazing as she's working with patients starting, as they're expecting, and she follows them until after they have their baby. The staff in the clinics are amazing. The nursing staff in the hospital, they're amazing, just walking, alongside women in our community. So we have the clinical piece, and then we also have the community piece where, people come to our Bundles and Bubbles event to support. We have partners that help us source items for the Bundle of Joy bags at cost. People that donate items for the Bundle of Joy bags. And so really it's just this huge collaborative effort, and that's so heartwarming.
I also wanted to talk about your volunteers, because I know you guys pack these bags, these bundles, and I'm just thinking, as we're talking about collaborating and community and women getting together, that itself is probably a really bonding experience for your volunteers, because I'm assuming it's mostly women, probably moms. And so it's like, I feel like anytime we all get in a room together, we start sharing these experiences, and just something small like that, going and, I'm going to pack some bags, I'm going to feel good about it. It can just end up being so much more, because you connect with people. And that's the why we love High Point. That's, I know I always come back to that. But.
Well, it's love where you live. That's what it's called. And these are the reasons, But yeah, what about two parts. One, what Allison was saying, volunteer, but then the other portion would be people wanting to give. You have your Bubbles and Bundles fundraiser, but if there are any other ways to give, so if y'all want to hit those 2 points.
Yes, I'm sure this will be a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Because I also want to tell you about what's coming up next,
Oh, yes,
which is our food pantry, which will enable a lot more volunteer opportunities. So we'll kind of tie it all together.
Okay.
So today there are about 1,400 births a year.
Wow.
So every month we pack about 140 to 50 bags. So we do 12 packing parties a year. The Junior League has done it a few times. We have businesses that do it as team events. We have large families that do it as a family gathering. We have schools, which is great. The Carolina Corps soccer team, the HPU men's soccer team, women's basketball team. I think it was pretty good birth control for those
For all of those college
So-
age.
yes.
What's this?
So that's been really cool, especially the athletes. They get competitive. Who can pack the most in the smallest amount of time? So that's amazing. We're actually booked out probably all year, I bet.
Into
Into 2027.
That's amazing.
And so I bring that up because we are launching a new food pantry.
Okay.
We got a grant from Healthy High Point that is enabling us to upfit an old hospital building that's in the middle of all 3 OBGYN clinics.
Okay.
That is going to include like a normal food pantry, but we'll also have fresh produce, refrigerated items. We'll have some other things that mom and baby might
Things
need.
you like crave. So now that
Mhm.
after I had my kids, I just wanted like light, like I wanted cucumbers and water. I bet both my children were also born in like
Summertime.
the hell of summer. Like, that's not all this fast. Like, so I was like, I need like cucumbers and watermelon. That's all I wanted. It was like really watery,
And
like
tequila.
Yeah.
But yes, and those items are very
Yeah.
expensive, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of misconception out there, and people think, oh, people just don't want to eat healthy. That's not true.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it is.
So anything we can do to alleviate that, and this food pantry serves patients prenatally as well as postpartum.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then we have some future plans that I won't share, but we've got like a whole vision that in 5 years, I can't wait to maybe come back on your podcast and share what we've done. But all that to be said, that is going to open up a lot more volunteer opportunities, because now churches reach out to us all the time wanting to donate items, and we tell them, I appreciate it, but your money would be going to waste because we buy everything at cost for the bundles. So it's either monetary donations, or in the future we can do food drives. So First Presbyterian, just peanut butter.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's a great idea.
And do we want to talk a little bit about what we've been doing with transportation through Uber Health? This would be really good.
So I started in my role in September. So I'm like, what, 6-ish months?
Yeah,
new here.
She's a doctor nurse.
Oh, Dr. Nurse.
Okay.
I got my DNP, graduated last year.
Doctorate of,
Doctorate of nursing. So they call me the doctor nurse around here, which I think is hilarious. I'm proud of that. But so one thing I noticed right away is that we had Bundle of Joy, which was amazing. We were working on the food pantry, which was amazing. But what I was encountering when talking to patients is I can't get to my appointments. It's not that I don't want to go and get my care, but I cannot get there. And so there are some insurance companies that provide transportation benefits. There are some that do not. And then that means that patients aren't going to their appointments, even if they really want to. So that was one thing I presented to Morgan and Shelby. I was like, if we can come up with a way to get these patients to their prenatal appointments, that would make my day. Like I would feel so accomplished. So I work with these patients. If I can get it through their insurance, I will. Otherwise, we now have an account set up with Uber Health.
which I didn't even know. Is that a real thing?
tell me.
Yes.
Or y'all just call it Uber Health? Oh, it's
No,
called
it's
Uber
called
Health?
Uber.
Yeah.
It's called Uber Health, and Shelby might be able to speak about this a little bit more. But it was we just kind of modeled what they were already doing in our cancer center. So
okay. So they were already
So this was a
Yes.
resource that the hospital already offered to other types of patients.
Right.
So that makes me so happy, and I had no idea that Uber Health was a thing.
I didn't either.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more, I guess, about what the program, how that works with.
So Uber Health is really cool. It's new-ish. So just, it is kind of almost exactly like just a regular Uber, like if you need to get a ride somewhere. The difference is that medical systems can set up an account through Uber Health And so the drivers have some additional training, and also they're trained to comply with like HIPAA guidelines, so that if they're taking, I'm going to make up a name, patient Sally Joe to her appointment at Clinic A, they know they don't need to go talk about that in the community, that's protected health information. And so the way it works is, specifically in this case with Bundle of Joy, Taylor has an account. And so as she's working with patients, if a patient has a transportation barrier, then she will schedule them an appointment, like a ride. And most patients do have cell phones, but if they don't, they can also be contacted via landline. And so they'll get like the Uber reminder, just like, or the alert, just like we would if we were getting rides anywhere.
Yeah.
And so like an Uber driver will bring them to their appointment, and then when they're finished with their appointment, they can get on their phone and request a ride back home. So it's really been transformative. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and we got this idea because I'm a really big proponent of work smarter, not harder.
Yes.
And so our cancer center, which that's a whole nother conversation, but they're fabulous. And they were already offering this service through a program called Loveline to their patients who have transportation barriers. And so they said that they've had like tremendous success with it. It was super easy. So then we were like, well, teach us, because we need to do this.
Why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah. And Taylor, I think you've seen really good results with this so far.
Yes. So, one thing I'm really proud of with this is that we have, some pregnancies are high risk. And so these patients have to go to Winston for maternal fetal medicine.
Okay.
That is a major barrier.
Yeah.
If you have transportation issues around High Point, the idea of having to go to Winston,
I don't even like
And
going
you're
to
high
Winston.
risk.
That's a
pregnancy, so
long
you have
ways
that just
away.
additional
You gotta
stress.
cross county borders. for
exactly,
that. I mean,
exactly. So being able
That's a
to
trip.
link those patients to Winston for maternal fetal medicine, and just knowing that what we're actually doing is improving maternal fetal outcomes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's huge.
That's
It's so
like
much
what
more.
that is what we are doing. That's what I'm the most proud of with
Yeah.
the transportation, or all of it really, but the transportation, I feel so proud of it, because that is just something that I was getting that feedback, and I was like, I can't do anything.
Yes.
And I don't like being able, I don't like that feeling
Right.
of I can't do anything to help you. So
There
now
should
that I
be
have a solution,
and you
yes,
one.
yeah, it's amazing.
Well, you can't help people if you can't get them to the appointment.
So is that something like donations would go to help pay for the rides with the drivers and things like that? Like if someone wanted to help, they make a monetary donation.
Yes, that's exactly right. So the funds that are raised for Bundle of Joy go to support several things. They go to support the Bundle of Joy bags, which we affectionately refer to as bundles. So they support those. They support transportation for patients who have a transportation barrier. And they also support our food pantry, the Joyful Shelf. And we're currently piloting a smaller version in one of our OB clinics, the Quaker Lane Clinic. We wanted to start with a pilot just so that we could really understand the need, understand the volume of food that was needed. And so money currently goes to support that. And then, of course, as we expand to the centralized Joyful Shelf food pantry, it will support that as well.
Well, y'all have done a good job. Like you said, not just jumping like, oh, this is a good idea. Let's just do it. But like you said, having the smaller food, I think the food pantry is a fabulous idea.
Yeah.
It's just the next piece to it, because to be a healthy mom, well, we'll go into breastfeeding, but you really have to eat nutritious foods and keep eating so that you can produce milk if they are breastfeeding. So it's a whole circle.
Yeah, and the thing that I've learned from the nursing staff at the Quaker Lane office is, a lot of times they introduce the Joyful Shelf and the patients don't accept it the first time because they're ashamed or embarrassed. But our nursing staff is so warm and kind, and they keep reminding them, and then moms start to use it, and then they open up. Well, I've got 4 kids at home, so I'm the last one to eat. Well, what does that mean? That means the baby's weight is going to be low. So like Taylor said, we're tracking all of these social determinants of health. And even through Epic, like your My Chart, we'll record which patients are shopping. So over time, we hope all of these efforts combined will take our baby weight from X to Y.
Yeah.
So it's not just like the vibes, right? It's like,
Right.
it's really like the outcomes that we're all marching towards together.
as we were planning for this, and especially planning for the pilot, we worked with lots of local organizations, and sat down and had conversations to sort of understand what the research says and what best practices are. We worked with organizations like Growing High Point, with A Simple Gesture, with Out of the Garden Project, to understand what they see as they're dealing with folks in the community. And one thing that I really took away was that it's so important to offer a dignified experience. And part of what that is, and sometimes it can't be avoided, but if we can, we really try to let patients go into the food pantry and select their own items. So we're not like, here are the 10 things you're going to have, what do you need? What do you like? And so we try to, and we even offer things that might be helpful for like children, like applesauce pouches, or I don't know about you guys, but my kids still devour those. And it helps mom too, put them in the diaper bag. So, we really try to offer just a really big selection and allow people to choose their own items for that reason.
I'm going back to the breastfeeding thing as we're talking about eating healthy. With breastfeeding, we had Barb Carter, who used to work at the hospital all the time.
Everybody knows Barb.
She has nicknames. But she helped you, because breastfeeding, again, I know it's natural for the baby, not so much for the mom, right?
It is not always natural for the mom.
Yeah.
And not even the baby sometimes, too. They have the lip ties, the tongue ties, their reflux, all kinds of things.
So she was there to be like, oh, you're going to breastfeed, and I'm going to help you do it. Do y'all have a resource like that at the hospispital right now?
Do you have someone forcing breastfeeding?
We do not have anybody forcing breastfeeding.
So postpartum nurses are really good about being able to help educate with breastfeeding these days. That was a big focus for me when I was in postpartum. But the hospital has lactation consultants that will come see patients now, and that's
the nice term.
That's what I was looking
Yeah.
at. Lactation.
Lactation.
I had a nurse come in, and then I also had a separate
Yes.
lactation consultant. And she was helpful. She was great. But.
Yes. And there's great resources in our community for after patients go home from the hospital. They actually just opened another baby cafe, which is a breastfeeding support group. They opened one in High Point. There's one in Greensboro now, but now there's High Point, which that just opened, so that's great.
Is that at the hospital? Is that a...
No, it is in a different building.
Okay.
I'm not going to remember the address.
That's well,
yeah, but it's like centralized High Point, and they have certain hours where you can come in and get support from a lactation professional.
Oh, cool.
Around other moms who might be going through some of the same things, which that sense of community we were just talking about is super important. And troubleshooting together, like, this worked for me.
What's an easy way for people to get to y'all to see how they can help?
I'll let Shelby talk about how to donate. I just want to give a little bit more information about what we need. So today we know exactly how much we need for the bundles.
Okay.
They cost about $100 a bundle, which is amazing because it's about $350 worth of supplies.
Yeah.
And then we have 1,400 births. We don't know yet how much the food pantry is going to cost, which is why volunteering and donations and monetary donations will be so important. And then, like I said, we have future plans for how we want to make this more connective across pediatrics and other things like that. So my biggest ask would be, if you're a mom, a grandmother, a sister, a brother, a dad, anything, please come to our Bundles and Bubbles event next January.
Yes.
January 2027. So I know it's far out, but we only do one event a year. It's a wonderful event. Y'all have been there, so I'll let you be our hype girls versus me.
Oh yeah, we will.
It's fun. It is super fun. They always have a really great speaker.
Yes.
This year you had
JJ Barris.
JJ Barris.
Yeah.
She's hilarious.
Yeah.
Year before it was Adrian, the educated debutante, and it's Bundles and Bubbles. There's champagne.
There's Bubbles. There's
a good speaker and lots of fun people in the community. You get to meet people and all.
Do you know who the speaker's going to be this year?
Or we are interviewing.
So, do you look for? Is it more like a comedian? Like what are your parameters of who you want to choose to be?
That it's been a cool. Like it's someone that I'm like, ooh, I want to see them like in general. So I think that's a cool.
Yeah, we've been going for the like mom or grandmother type of comedian vibe. Just someone that really gets it. You know, it's not going to be their typical spiel that they're doing at other events. They tailor it to us and our audience and our program, but they're funny. They're lighthearted. You know, we spend the first half of the program kind of telling you the hard stuff about what's going on. And then we want to end it on a high note. Like, we've all had a couple glasses of champagne. We've got dinner reservations coming up. Like, let's laugh a little. So, so we'll be able to announce our speaker, I think, in the next couple of months. The reason I bring that up is because our resources are tight. And so we can only do one event a year. So this is really our main fundraiser outside of just the one-off donations that we get. And we feel really good about the bundles piece, but what we want to make sure is that the food pantry is sustainable long term. So that's why, we're really excited about just making sure we can make this a sustainable program.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when women start to take advantage of it. And I mean, the bundles, have you been doing it for 2 years now?
That's 3.
So we rolled this out in February 2024.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're in our third year.
We're in our third year.
Okay. What kind of feedback have you gotten over the years from the moms? What do you hear from the moms?
And I'll let Taylor talk a little bit about this too, but it's one of those things where what the harsh reality is for a lot of women, but then when they express it to you, it just kind of gets you, to your, like, in your soul. But we hear things like, and this is almost a direct quote, "I had nothing for my baby except for this. This is what I'm taking home to care for my baby." And so, for those of us who had resources and had what we needed, it's really hard to imagine.
I think maybe Morgan told me one time that there was a mom who literally had the baby in a drawer. That's where it was sleeping, was in a drawer.
And this was her safe sleep space for her baby, was, to be able to unzip the back of the diaper bag and put her baby in the bassinet. So it definitely helps a lot of women. And Taylor, you probably have some more feedback.
I hear, even from just like a navigation standpoint, like starting prenatally through the entirety of what we are doing with Bundle of Joy, with the food pantry at Quaker Lane, and with the transportation of it all, I've had really positive feedback where, patients are telling me, "Thank you so much for advocating for me. Like, it feels so good to have someone like caring for me and my baby." And that's the best feedback you can possibly get.
Yeah.
To know that you're making like a tangible difference.
And that's probably across the board.
Yes.
All moms.
Yes, across the board. And for the bags themselves, I've heard, and you guys probably as well, but as in the hospital, I've heard really positive feedback of like, this is the stuff we really needed, that we didn't have, or that really makes a difference. So
it is a kit bundle. We've seen them.
Yes.
Y'all have them on display at the Bubbles and Bundles. And I wish I would have had something like that.
It really is your starter kit.
It is.
Here you go. Like, you're not totally alone in the world with this baby, because people cared enough about you to make this for you.
Yeah, and I'm so glad y'all brought that up, because one thing we've talked a lot about is over the last decade, High Point has really tried to step it up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, we have a baseball team, a soccer team, all these fun, cool new restaurants and buildings, and that's all like the fun, sexy stuff.
Yeah.
But what about just the average person that's been living here their whole lives? Like, we want to make sure that we're building up every part of the community, not just the fun stuff.
Yes.
So I would just say that's something that as a committee we spend a lot of time talking about.
Well, and it's true. And it's about, loving where you live, and just High Point building to become a better place to live. Is all encompassing. It involves everything, not just where you live or where you're eating or what sports events you're going to go to. It's making the people who live here more solid, satisfied, well-rounded people. And, where do you start with anything is the very beginning. If you can take better care of your baby and have a healthier start for your baby with these, with the bundles and with the food pantry, having better food, then that child becomes a better person. And you're breaking a cycle in probably some of the cases. And that makes all the difference for a community.
Agreed.
So the website, to be able to donate, just a quick reference for people to know where to go and what to do. How do they get to y'all?
So I'm going to tell you the easiest way to get to us.
Yes.
Go to Google, type in High Point Regional Health Foundation,
Okay.
and then you just click on the link and it will show all of our initiatives, and Bundle of Joy is right there in the middle. So
Okay.
you click on...
It sits under the foundation. Or
It sits under the foundation's website.
Okay.
Yes. So you click on Bundle of Joy, and the landing page tells all about the program, what the bundles include, basically what we've just talked about. And then there's a big orange Give Now button. So if you'd like to make a donation, that is how you do so.
Okay, perfect.
You guys are also on social media, right?
Bundle of Joy _ High Point.
Morgan does have a whole other career in addition to this, and her 2 children and her husband.
Yeah. We didn't talk about this actually, Shelby and Morgan. We know what Taylor does, but
she's a
or what
doctor
your
nurse.
she's a doctor nurse. Doctor nurse Taylor. But tell us a little bit about like what your title is at the hospital, Shelby, and you, Morgan. What you do in your real life, real work.
You're real.
So I'm Shelby, and I am the Community Development Officer with High Point Regional Health Foundation. So just quickly, High Point Regional Health Foundation is the philanthropic arm of High Point Medical Center, aka High Point Memorial, High Point Regional, High Point Hospital.
All the
And our mission is simply to raise important funds to fund capital projects and special services and purchase equipment for High Point Medical Center. So all of the money that we raise stays right here in High Point. And we have many initiatives, but one of them, the newest one, is Bundle of Joy. So we're delighted that Morgan brought this idea to us and was willing to partner with us. This is such fun work.
I know. I remember actually, Morgan, we were in Church Street. There was a band playing. I don't remember what it was. And you were telling me about this. I'm like, oh my God, that is like perfect. Like, we need something like that.
I was born and raised in High Point and then lived here most of my life. And then I lived in New York for about 7 years. I was working in the fashion industry, but when I moved back to High Point to be with my now husband, I needed to find a different job. So I am working remotely for a healthcare technology company called ZocDoc. It's based out of New York. I oversee their sales team. So I'm working from home most of the time. I'm in New York about once every 6 weeks. And Bundle of Joy is such an important part of me so I can stay connected to the community and just feel like I'm a part of home.
Nice. Well, and Shelby, did you grow up here?
I did grow up here. Yes, I'm a High Pointer. And I think that's part of why I'm so passionate about this and I've always had a really strong connection to the hospital from the time that I was a little girl. My mother just recently retired from the hospital as a nurse of like 30 plus years.
Nice.
And so it's just been really fun to see the transformation and the revitalization of the city of High Point.
Yes.
And then, just to be a small part of helping folks in our community. It does something to your soul to give back.
I know, and it's amazing how we've grown. And we talk about this all the time. I mean, when we were young, I'm like, getting out of this town and never coming back, but we all did because it is a great place to live.
Morgan even went to the big city, like the real big city.
Came back from New York City.
If Kay Miller is listening, trust me, we had many conversations. High Point's a great place to raise a family. I'm never coming back here, Mom.
Yes, I know. And look where we all said that, and look where we are. Yeah, we used to call it Dead Point and Low Dot, But we've got so much more. I mean, like Davis, we were talking about him before. He's getting ready to graduate. He's coming home. He is not upset about it. Like, there's cool things to do here, especially for younger people. And I think when we were young, that was the part that was missing, was the social aspect of it. We always had a very connective community and small town feel, but
we always found fun things to do. They just
we had to have
they're better. They're more legal.
But I think but the social, I think that part was missing, like the restaurants and the bars and the going places and being with other people, not having to go to someone's house and hang out. Now, Taylor, are you from High Point? Because you're shaking your head like I know what you're talking about.
I do know what you're talking about. I did not grow up in High Point. I'm a Kernersville girl.
Oh, Kayville.
Kayville.
Right.
So I'm real close, but I did the same thing. I didn't move to that big city. I moved to Raleigh.
Oh, okay.
And I lived there for 5 years. And then I was like, I need to go home.
Yeah.
So I understand. I was like, I'm never moving back home. I will never be there. And here I am.
All house.
I'm just like,
Every single.
and I'm so glad to be here.
And
So
now Mary Powell and I try to convince other people to live here. That is the most twisted part of all.
Yes, we sell High Point. Yeah, and you know what? We talk quite a few into it, don't we? We don't have to. And this is part of what the podcast is about too, is people just learning about things going on in their town, whether you're from here or not. But as we said, the high points of High Point. And Morgan, I have to say, between all three of y'all, it's not going to be 5 years that you're going to have something new going on. It's probably going to be the next year or two.
Yeah, things happen so much faster in this little town. People get behind an idea and they run with it. You're already seeing how it's grown, really. A lot.
We started having conversations in the summer of 2023, and between the Congdon family, the Witcher family, and the Quabain family, we had the funds to get going within 6 months.
Yeah.
And I think that just proves how amazing our community is and how much they care. When you present people with a need and they have the means to support, they get after it. So you don't see that in other places.
No, 100%. And I think that's the community feel of High Point. Small town with big heart, because it does. And whether you have a lot of means or just a little means, you can give big, you can volunteer big. I mean, it's just people want to make the city better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really how it comes about. And if someone has a good idea, it'll get done.
We have multiple hospitals or organizations or just individuals have asked us, will you tell us how you did this? I want to do this at my hospital. And we have said, yes, we'll give you the playbook. We'll give you our vendors. We'll tell you exactly what you need.
Right.
Sadly, we have yet to have one person actually be able to make it happen.
Yeah.
And again, it's usually not the finances, right? It's will the staff at that hospital take on another responsibility? And will the community step up and do what it takes to make it happen? So you really have to have all three pieces. And it's been humbling, I guess, to see, how hard it is to actually do. So shout out High Point.
I know. That speaks volumes about High Point, which that's what we're here for. Just spread the word. Thank y'all again for being here. I really appreciate it, for taking the time to come talk to us and teach us some new things and educate our listeners.
And make sure to mark your calendars for January 21st, 2027 for the Bundles and Bubbles event.
Thank y'all for listening, and make sure to like, follow, and share our podcast.